Have you ever wondered how it feels to live in a shoestring budget of just $1 a day? Well, I decided to take on the challenge and push my limits by living on $1 a day for a whole month. From scavenging for food to finding ingenious ways to save money, my experience was nothing short of a roller coaster ride. If you are equally motivated to learn the skill of living on $1 a day, keep watching the video till the very end. Number 1. Cook budget meals. The hardest part of living on $1 a day is definitely food. This is also where you will want to pay the most attention to make sure you do not spend more than $1 a day before you do anything else. BudgetBites.com is one of the best sites to help you figure out what to eat. Not only do they have hundreds or even thousands of recipes that cost less than $10, but they also show you how much each serving costs you so you can figure out which ones are the best. Unfortunately, if the meal is not a cookie or a light breakfast, you will spend close to $1 just for one serving. On the other hand, there are a few meals that cost around 60 cents, and this is something that can be worked with. First, it is important to remember that these prices are just the best estimates, and they may be more or less in your area. Before I give you an example, you need to do your own research on items and make sure your recipes use things that are on sale. Let us know in the comments if you have ever tried living on $1 a day for a month and how it went. For example, the Puerto Rican rice and beans recipe on the website costs about 69 cents per serving. If you click on the recipe, it also tells you the price per serving of each item in the recipe, so you can easily figure out if you can make a recipe even cheaper. Number 2. Shop smart. When you are trying to live in a budget, shopping smart is one of the most important skills you must have. This is especially true when you are trying to live on $1 a day. There are a few things you can do that will all help you stay under the $1 mark. One thing you will need to do is become an expert bargain hunter. If you see a deal that is too good to pass up on something you need, it might be a good idea to take it. For example, if you need a toilet paper and the brand you usually buy costs $8.86 for 12 rolls and the average person uses 8 rolls a month, you spend $5.90 every month. That is already a big chunk of $1. But let us say there's a huge sale on a 12-pack for $5.86, but it is a brand you do not usually buy. That would mean you are paying $3.90 for a full month, or 13 cents per day. Number 3. Make your own coffee. If you buy a coffee every day at Starbucks, you cannot stay under $1 a day. Even if you just bought the tall or smallest size every day, you would be over budget by almost 3 times, since a coffee latte, one of the most popular drinks, costs $2.95. You may be wondering if making coffee at home is really that much better. If you bought Starbucks ground roast at Walmart, a package of French roast dark roast ground coffee beans would cost you $12.48, or about 72.9 cents per day, based on a 1 ounce per cup measurement. This is still a pretty big amount, but you can take it a step further by buying a different brand. For example, a 48-ounce package of brand name coffee from Walmart costs $11.48, so you would only spend 23.9 cents on a cup of coffee every day. This is a very doable amount. Number 4. Learn the art of resourcefulness. This month, it is important to be resourceful by reusing and repurposing your things. Since $1 a day is such a small amount, you will want to avoid making any big purchases like big-ticket items. If you need to save money on non-emergency repairs or replacements, you will have to make the most of what you already have. For example, let us say you are running out of Ziploc bags, but you already have a few that are almost empty. Normally, you would throw these away and buy a new package, but there is a way to save. Instead of throwing them away, wash them and reuse them. This is a good way to make your Ziploc bags last longer, letting you spend less than $1. The other big thing you should work on is DIY. DIY requires you to be resourceful because you may be fixing, repairing, or even building something you do not know much about. However, that does not mean it is impossible. For example, if your jacket tears at a seam under your arm, do not buy a new one. Instead, pull out your sewing kit and fix it. Those of you who live in colder places can watch a YouTube video and fix it themselves. You know that winter jackets are not cheap, and if you have to buy a new one, you will definitely go over the $1 a day budget. However, If you already have an emergency sewing kit, fixing the jacket will cost you less than a cent. Number 5. Use free entertainment. If you want to live on $1 a day, YouTube and the library will be your best friends. Currently, you pay for subscriptions, and even if the price per day is small, it all adds up. So it is best to cancel all of them during this month. Luckily, you can watch and read pretty much anything you want on YouTube and in the library. YouTube is free and has a lot of content on just about anything you can think of. In fact, you are already using it by watching this video. While you are there, consider liking it and subscribing our Future with Finance to keep learning new stuffs about budgeting and investing. If you help us out, we can keep helping you out. It is a great way to pass the time and enjoy life, which is something everyone should do. Most people are subscribed to Spotify or some other network, but you can listen to free music on YouTube. This is another reason why it is a good idea to cancel your subscription if you want to make sure you do not go over your daily budget of $1. The library is another great place to find free entertainment. You can borrow almost any book you can think of, as well as audiobooks and movies from this forgotten site. It is a great way to watch movies and TV shows without paying for a subscription. But what if you want to do something more active? Luckily, there are lots of free active things to do. For example, going for a walk, riding a bike, or hanging out in the park are all great ways to enjoy the outdoors without spending a dime. Even something as simple as throwing a frisbee, baseball, or football around while talking can be a lot of fun. Number 6. Change your mode of transportation. Most likely, paying for gas will put you over $1 a day mark. So, if you can avoid driving as much as possible, you will save a lot of money while you are on this tight budget. Depending on your situation, there are a lot of things you can do. Biking or walking are both great ways to improve your health, and stay away from your car if you have the right weather and are healthy enough to do so. Walking is free, and biking is almost as cheap as walking. That is, if your tires do not pop or if you need to do some maintenance. But this is not something that everyone can do. So, public transportation like a local bus, subway, or carpooling is another great way to get around. Any of these ways will get you closer to your goal of making $1 a day. If you want to take it a step further, you can try to link your trips with an app like Uber or Lyft, where it is likely that your ride will pay for your entire gas bill and more. Most people spend about $300 a month on gas, so you should try to make that much with your trips. Some people will not be able to use either of these methods because of where they are in life. So what do? Well, combining different methods is one of the best ways. For example, if there is a free park and ride halfway to your workplace, you can park there and then walk or ride your bike the rest of the way. This makes the trip a little less stressful.